And y'all, when I saw this photo, I looked, it was showing, a picture of our bedroom. And I was like, why is a bunny rabbit on our bed? But it was kind of blurred. And I'm like, it looked like a bunny. Why would there be a bunny on our bed? So we decided to give you a story time that was very scary at the time.
Cherie wanted to tell you about the time we lived in what she calls the rat house.
I have a reason for thinking that. We were renting this house in Dallas. It was an older house that was in actually one of the first communities that they allowed Black people to buy homes in the 1950s in Dallas. Very historic community. We were renting a house in that community, and we'd been there for probably about a year and a half at the time. And everything was okay. I mean, it was an older house, And then different things happened, like the roof had leaked and it, dripped on our new bed and other stuff. And so we knew we wanted to get out of there and possibly move to some place in the suburbs that had a little bit less traffic in.
Yeah, so the owner he called you one time, right? Because of the trees in the back or some bushes. City came through the alley in the back, and basically if the bush or tree touches the truck, then you get a citation or have to pay a fine or something.
Mind you, I'm driving in the car, I get a call and I'm like, oh, what is the landlord calling for? So I answer the phone. Then I hear like literal yelling in my ear and I'm like, whoa, 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 you got it all wrong. So then he proceeds to practically cuss me out because he's gotten a ticket from the city. And I'm like, what? Then I find out, I said, first of all, we don't have any trees in the back. And then, I said, well, let me refer to our lease. Landscaping and trees, that's the landlord's responsibility. Actually, it's only our responsibility to cut the grass in the front and the back and anything that's inside of the gate, not in the alley. That's your business, and it's a tree on the property that they cited.
So it looks like the issue was actually this tree. I've tried to start cutting some of it back. The after picture of the tree, definitely not hanging over into the alley driveway. It's on the green part. Even that top little part is not hanging, but I'll clip that little piece just in case.
So anyway, so that was just the first thing, but we already knew that we were just really, really starting to become really annoyed with this particular landlord. So we go out of town. We were out of town with family. We were in Louisiana with Heit's family. And we have a security system, probably not surprising. And we had multiple ones that were set up. And they have motion detectors really late, like 2 a.m. We got a text message because when the motion detector would go off, it would text both of our phones. A photo would be sent with whatever it captured. And y'all, when I saw this photo, I looked, it was showing, a picture of our bedroom. And I was like, why is a bunny rabbit on our bed? But it was kind of blurred. And I'm like, it looked like a bunny. Why would there be a bunny on our bed? And I was like, oh no.
Oh my God.
And mind you, it's the middle of the night and I'm like, nah, I can't sleep. I'm just, nervous about this. And then I said, well, okay, you can access the video. Go look at the video. And what happened when we saw the video? We gonna let y'all see the video.
Running across the bed.
It just trolloping and frolicking. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And
so one thing happened. I think that it looked like previously there was like something chewed on like the bread wrapper or something, right? I believe. So I bought these little traps and it had like a small hole like this for a mouse. I'm like, hey, we could catch this mouse if it is a mouse. I don't know.
Right.
Because we was leaving a lot. We were leaving and coming back. And then when I seen the video, I was like, there's no way I was going to catch this thing.
That little hole that was because it's supposed to go in a little hole and get caught or whatever. No, this was no little mouse. This was not a little field mouse. The thing was the size of like a cat. Y'all seen the video. We're driving and it took us probably 6 hours to get back from Louisiana to Dallas when we lived in Dallas. We know, we get to the door to unlock it and go in. It's just like you feel that feeling of dread.
I didn't, but
I did because I knew what was inside and I knew whatever I would find was going to determine whether or not I could really even sleep there anymore, ever. So anyway, you open the door. Flies everywhere. I don't even remember when it was like all these flies and it was a smell. And I don't even know what happened, but it was the most disgusting and just, and we had been gone for like, at that maybe a week.
Who knows?
A week to 2 weeks because at that point we were leaving a lot. And it was just a mess. So then we get back and, of course, the bedding, everything must come off. It is like, burn it. I can't even deal. And then I could not with good conscience ever again sleep in that room. So Heit was kind enough to let us sleep in the living room, and we slept on the couch. That red couch y'all saw before, we slept on the couch.
So then we ended up contacting the owners of the place and telling them what's going on. You need to get some people out here to basically remedy this problem. And they basically said, no, F you. You do it yourself. We don't handle stuff like that.
They said, that's your problem. I'm like, well, we didn't cause, a rat to come in this place. Maybe it's because you neglected the roof and it was leaking and, maybe that's how it got in. I don't know. Y'all, I had thought maybe it was squirrels on the roof because every once in a while I would hear, scampering. That was probably that rat was living up there just thinking about it. But anyway, they were like, no. So I was like, okay, I got something for you. So we just started looking for another place. Now, because the landlord was so freaking lazy, he wouldn't even write a new lease. So we had stayed a year and then, our lease was up and then we were technically on a month to month. So we owed him no obligation other than I think we owed him a 30-day notice. So I was like, all right, keep playing. We came back. It was maybe like a Monday. We started looking for a place on Tuesday. We found a place shortly, the next day or two, and looked at it, rented that place. And it was the house we had been waiting for. Now, mind you, for months, we had been going around searching for houses that we wanted. Remember? And it would always be like, oh, this is too far. They want too much for what they're giving, and so we just didn't rent.
At one point, we was like, oh, we might as well start looking at apartments, right?
Right. Well, and during this, because we were like, we got to go. If it's going to be an apartment, then we would just have to be in an apartment. But I will not sleep another night in this house, in that room with that rat. And it's real short time on me even being in this house. We got our new place. And then we were just like, okay, we just going to go ahead and move on out. And then I'm going to make sure that we send them the notice along with the keys and everything else like that. And it's deuces. Now, they did have a month security deposit.
Yeah, but we didn't send that until it was coming up on the time for the rent.
We waited until the end of the month. So you got the least amount of notice because we sure didn't. Now, if it was a different situation, we would have worked. We would have actually stayed there. If the guy was like, oh, we'll get somebody out there right away. We wouldn't have been just rushing to leave. But this was like, oh, no, I can't even be dealing with you. Yeah, so we waited.
Yeah. Did we tell the new cat not to contact him? I think we kind of did. It was like, we'd rather you not.
Yeah. So when you go to your new landlord or whatever, and they want to contact, we said, well, we would rather you not. But I'll tell you one thing that worked in our favor was how meticulous that I am about about receipts. So I was able to give the guy like years of receipts for, monthly rent payments haven't been paid. So we weren't even writing checks from the checking account. We were like money order every month. And we don't want to hear nothing about nothing ever possibly bouncing. When you on a low budget, things can happen. So we were like, all right, a photo every time we would get the money order. We take a picture. So I had all the photos in my phone. And then I just sent that to him. Like, look, we pay our rent every month. We're not problem people. And that relationship with that landlord turned out to be really, really good.
He was really good.
Mm-hmm. He was wonderful after that. So, so we bounced, we moved out, and then we had that letter delivered via certified mail. Yes, send us back the green card with return receipt, baby. Because after that happened, we get a letter back, and I'm like, okay, we know they're not going to give us the deposit back, even though technically we cleaned the place. We still left everything like it was supposed to be. We left it better.
We started building a patio. I cleared out some of the, leveled the land as best as I could, and we bought bricks and started putting the bricks out and stuff. Yeah. And it was like a real small piece, right? And I still had the dirt, like a mound right next to it.
And that stuff was really heavy. It was weighing down our vehicle and everything when we were bringing that stuff. But we did it out of our own money and everything. Because the guy made it like, oh, you can stay here as long as you like. And it'll be really. And we didn't have any complaints about the place at first. And the rent was, very reasonable.
And he tried to use that in when he.
As a selling point. It
wasn't even that great.
No, because it wasn't completely finished. Oh, and it has a patio. No.
And when we moved in, he had this piece of furniture. What is it called?
A wardrobe with, like a wooden wardrobe with 2 doors and some drawers. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So he said, I think it was the person who lived there previously left it. So he was basically, y'all can have it or whatever. Right? So we basically took the doors off, painted it. When it was time for us to leave and we were over, he's talking like we ruined this thing.
Oh yeah, so
that we own.
We finally get word back from them saying that, you know, they've come up with these charges that they've amassed that miraculously equal, you know, the amount of the deposit that we had left with them. They said that, you know, we ruined it or the doors were missing, so they charged us for that. And, you know, I was just like, my little kettle was tooting. I was hot about that because I was like, oh no, after all this and disrespect and everything, and then you're not going to give us our deposit back. And then I went in Heit and I told him, and I was so mad. I was just like, you know, these people. And what'd you say?
I don't know.
He don't even remember what he said, but this is how he does. He was just like, what did you want from this situation? I said, I didn't want to be in the rat house no more. And what did you get? And I was like, well, he was like, do you like where you are? I was like, yeah, I love it here. This is really nice. It's better than where we were. And then he said, all right then.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, exactly. People always tell me I tell them stuff that I don't remember. I'm like, oh, because I said that.
Because that's just, I mean, because I was so mad, but you really calmed me down in that situation. But even when I think about it, I still get a little salty, but I just realized that it is what it is and you can't win being dirty anyway. And I know I know he lost more than that in rent for us not being there. And we would have stayed there.
Yeah, we would have stayed.
It would have been a small fee to get an exterminator.
This dude planted a tree over the water line that goes into the house.
Not too bright at all. Oh, what I did to get back at him though, is I did put the video of the rat and attached it. See, this is why when you mess with tech people, it's a problem. And attached it to a YouTube video that I uploaded. So that when people searched for that address, because you know the first thing you're going to do when you rent it is you're going to search the address.
It has some good SEO.
Yes. Okay, one thing we know how to do is that. And then, you know, maybe that's why I couldn't rent, you know, at first. I don't know. That's how we did them in the end. After I got over it, it's been, you know, 5, 10, 7 years or whatever. So I'm over it now mostly. But yeah.
That's right. We used to live in a rat house. But see, me, I don't care. I would have just stayed there. And
in the rat house, it's rats there. They carry disease.
Okay, then they could leave too.
They eating our food. That was a rat that ate our bread.
I don't think it actually ate the bread.
It ate the bread.
Oh,
it was a whole. Y'all, I went in the kitchen and I heard a little noise and I was like, "What is that?" And you know, like the way your pots and pans and whatever. And after this trauma, I was telling. You know, I think I was on the phone with your mom and I was telling her, I was like, look, I got a mind to go in this kitchen. I would throw every pot away that was in that cabinet because I knew I heard something. And then that's when I saw the bread that had been disturbed in the kitchen. And then, but we didn't see anything. And it was, I don't know, weeks had passed, you know, so nothing happened. And we were like, oh, okay, must not be anything going on. Maybe the mouse went away. You know, I mean, you know, every once in a while you get a mouse or something like that in the house. No big deal. I could have dealt with a mouse. A cat-sized rat? No.
There you have it.
The rat house.